I've done things like sleep outside and live outdoors and stuff along those lines, partly because of the, well, what I'm noticing is this overcharge for land and space and the control of it. And so my brothers represent that to a good extent. And so as an example, this week, I've been asking them for about 20 years, but not a whole lot, just thinking about it, about getting together, the three of us, and on the golf course, because we grew up near golf courses and so forth. And they're doing this weekend, this week, and in New York, where I'm far away, but I would have been willing to drive up, would have liked to have driven up, but they didn't really invite me. The same thing. It's just, you know, if you say something to these people, you know, say what? What are you guys doing? They'll get all antagonistic, or, you know, or then do something that they think is making up for it, maybe. But it's not really just a natural thing. Of course, you know, now I'm the middle child, so that is the independent one, the one who goes off in the left field while the others follow the right-hand path, kind of thing. You know, as they say, the middle child, generally. So what? It doesn't really matter, except for it's a point about how everybody is voting or how everybody is associating and what they take as their authority and their reference points and what they call belief systems and that kind of stuff is all inculcated into the entire framework of the well, I don't know what we have a word for it exactly. The dark controllers and the alienation and the socio-cultural, political boondoggle, you know, and like that. So I had another experience in the second level, which is the, instead of the personal, which is that worldly one, where recently now we're recognizing there's a civil war in the United States. And I received a letter from a third-party candidate, a note, you know, advertisement, if you will, because everybody has to do this, advertising their product and their. And so in this case, Mr. K, I'll call him, has said that the civil war is on, and the MSM, he calls it, mainstream media, is responsible or effective in this not revealing about the health of the leadership and the public concern. And also there's a third element of the inculcation and obfuscation of the through the mainstream media affectation, and it's just good to be aware of this and acknowledge it. It doesn't matter that Mr. T or Ms. H or any of them, whatever side they might be associated with, because the sides don't matter, and the middle doesn't even matter. None of it is, except for their material matter concern. And if this is our reference point, we are going to have to be accepting of it. So I had a third situation yesterday where I was doing a repair on the car, or trying to get it done, and it had to do various strangenesses, we'll say, or adjustments, and to get things done or find out what was really going on, because there's some things that I didn't totally recognize or know about, and just without details except for the one about repairing the car tire, is that I wasn't repairing the car tire, but when the car is being repaired for a leak, I was told that my tire is very bald and it's caused by too much pressure in the tire. And when I got these tires valved recently, they put too much pressure. Okay, so again, I went with trusting. Now I have two ways of doing my repairs. I can go to a private person who is working on his own and do it off the grid, so to speak. And or I could go to the public businesses, which I did in the case of the tire, not in the case of the leak repair. But to do the leak repair, I needed all these adjustments, kind of speak, giving rides and doing other stuff. And that was what led me to something interesting. Yesterday I went to, we were in this, in the town where my friend lives that does repairs. There's a antiques and little store, and also next door is a cafe, a pool bar. They have karaoke and all of that, and it's real nice, outdoors place. And I talked to them, and I'd asked if I could come and play and set up a speaker, and they were just painting the stage, so they were like preparing the stage. They said I couldn't do it because of the stage, but I could have done it anywhere there. So instead of me doing the setup, which my repair friend didn't really want to do and take the time to do because of his health and so forth, and so it didn't happen. But instead, I just spontaneously picked up a guitar, and the name of the club was called Edge of Town. So I wrote a 2-minute song spontaneously, sitting out there, called "On the Edge of Town." And I said, I'm a bum, I may look like a bum, and I'm homeless on the street, and making up all these words, but I'm still keeping the beat, and you know, just doing this spontaneous rap. And I recognized, oh, well, this is something I could have done a long time ago, and have been doing, but not quite recognized the fullness of. This is a way of going to meet somebody, some people, and just sharing with them, hey, I've got this idea, the Star Rock concert, for Wild Stock concert for freedom, love, and freedom, truth, and beauty. Something like Woodstock, but completely off the cuff, and you know, it's like a spontaneous response, say, to what's going on with the 3 different forces that we are dealing with, and the public, the private, personal, that is, and the third being the universal, I'll call it, or the worldly in the local sense, because all of these have references and relations to everywhere we go and everything we are about. And we have the 3 levels in the physical, and we can say we have 3 levels at all the other 7, up to the 7th I call it that, which is the, also within that there's the 3 and 3, and this is really actually something that relates to the Tesla numbers, 369, whatever, and I see that wholeness. It doesn't matter really to have any identifications within it, like soul, spirit, and God, okay, blah, 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 because all of those words and phrases are being used by the different level of systems and or coordinations that exist, all of them, political, governmental, and educational, social, and so-called spiritual, or that is psychic, I guess is more of a term at that level. So, in our communications about these, it's challenging, to say the least, but also to not also be drawn into their frameworks. And we can use the frameworks, and that was really what I was shared with someone. I said, you're in the, I talked to him this way. I said, you have this, you've been cursed, you're being targeted, you're under a spell, and everyone is under this spell, this curse and this target conduction, and that recognition is paramount to that opportunity of going beyond or being and recognize all isness. And the third part of it, which is I guess our unity. In religious terms, it would be a Unitarian thing, and instead of the conflict that's going on between Muslim and Islam or Christian, which is, it's really not a conflict between those two, but it's identified by a large majority that way. And all this attitude about God on our side, and Allah, and don't want to even say the words, because if you start to get that, they're listening, and they're going to think that it's an attack upon and or a confrontation or a competition with whichever of those three, and it has nothing to do with that at all. Yet that's the framework. So that exists also in the astrological, astronomical, and the so-called, what do you call that? Third one, universal spiritual something or other. And there is a integrated system with that, I would say, with the 369 and the numbers and all of that stuff. That is the scientific, which is / astronomical. Okay, so again, another one that is recognition. And the more that we're able to recognize where we are with that and our recognition as a whole in the all is, most importantly and clearly the only, natural, universal, or solar, I call it, which relates to the light field, solar light, solar energy, whatever. See, that has its own threes as well, and the physical and so forth, and the life levels. Okay, so that was a real quick way of explaining the whole thing that way. And at that point, there's just kind of what, okay, for myself as a direction. I went to the little bar and kind of set up a place for myself to play and to operate a little bit, and or just be creative in the moment and demonstrate it. So I recorded this song. I'll put it here in the Edge of Town song in the here in this chat. I'll call it up. I don't want to go offline at this second, so but I'll put it in here at the end, and that's it. I guess that's pretty good. I would say the political thing is of interest because the demo rats and the reptilians are facing off, and it's getting very, very ugly. And you can just see it's like one side is calling the other side evil, everything they do. And the other side is saying that they're very much afraid of the other side because of what they will do. And the other side is actually threatening the entire population if they don't get their Mr. T elected, that they are going to, set up bombs, so to speak. I mean literally nuclear bomb, etc. But it might as well be, because the referential association is already there. And that is practically what they're doing, is they're supporting the thing that is creating a genocidal situation of some kind, or the increased continuous mental, physical, and we'll say emotional and spiritual, that is, really, pollution. And this is the Civil War. So I'm having I'm trying to make sure I call in the references at the right time, and sometimes I forget them. I'm doing this song, singing, and I know that what I'm really trying to say is something in that beyond this situation. I'm at the edge of town, singing to the cook, and I bought a hot dog. That they sell a hot dog for $1, and with relish, and I have to buy a drink. If you come to the bar to sing it, you have to buy a drink. I probably didn't need to get the drink, but it was $2, and I gave it to my friend who has to fast because of his ulcers. And, so I kind of put it all together, and I sang the song while I was sitting there waiting for the cook and to heat up the stove and have a hot dog. And I've been warned about, the hot dogs and stuff, you want to not, they're filled with nitrates, and but some of them are not. They are making them now, and they're making veggie dogs. So, funny relation to this is that this candidate, Mr. K, is, by the way, he has a vice presidential woman who's Ms. S. Shanahan, and the wife of the mechanic who I was with, her name is Shannon, or Shanna. And so, coincidentally, I recognize that is actually the simulation at work, and I'm seeing all of this associative, simulated references everywhere. And at every moment, they're constantly, and let's say in the advertising mode, they're being impressed upon us constantly with that framework or format that the controllers are working with. And it relates directly to the assassination, so-called, which is not really the right term because Mr. T is not an official representative of that. So assassination implies governmental personage. But yes, Mr. T is a presidential candidate, so he deserves Secret Service coverage. And how this is related is that Mr. K was refused Secret Service coverage last year, and for the last year, even though he's a viable candidate, because the mainstream media, etc., does not recognize it fully. They're totally working with the Civil War model of two parties, bipolar, and I will relate. Mr. B, his name is Biden, which I think I call him, could say I call him Mr. Bipolar, who has just finally admitted that his health is, and his anesthesia is fully in effect, and he's not able to continue. I could have said this in a much more humorous way. And what is funny is that Mr. K, with his wife Shanahan, his wife is a comedian on Saturday Night Live, etc. And so, I mean, it's just the whole thing is totally comedic. And I am not a good comedian. Everybody is obvious. Unless you get into certain modes, everybody can be a good comedian. Everybody can be a great singer, or a songwriter, or a poet, or a politician, or a cook, or a mechanic, or a new singer, and whatever, a new seer, and we could be and are really everything. And everything that's happening is all part of us and what we're creating or helping to create. And so we have the storm, just came in again today, so here I am in the storm, jokingly, but truthfully. It's just raining, but we get a little bit of thunder, but sometimes it's really intense. And we have to constantly be aware and reference these weather factors or environmental factors and social, human system, worldly factors, because we might need to do something or something needs to be careful. We need to be careful and watchful and observant. And we're relating that observation to everybody and everything that we can with the worldwide wake-up call and this simplicity, really, of the all-is, the all-isness and the isness and the all that we are of, with it, or of it, or unified naturally, universally, solaristically and naturally. And there it is. That's the secret. So it's not really a secret, but there you and so forth. And I have this technique that I shared with my brother on the text and the message while he was out on the golf course. And his comment back to me was, I'm doing that already. And what I said to him was, you breathe, Breathe through the nose. It's maybe what so-called the God of the universe or the weather does with the thunder. And in any case, just metaphorical. Then you exhale naturally, fully, and you before this or during it, you allow yourself to get in the focus. Allow the proper focus in your real awareness and your address. In golf, it's an address. And then breathe, inhale, exhale.